Second on our agenda is someone by the name of Sean FICO, representing FICO Partners LLC, and if I mispronounced that, I apologize. The owners of the property is located at 1820 West Main Street, and it gives a tax ID. The applicant is appearing before the village board, the Village Zoning Board of Appeals for the following 4 different items. 1, it's an application for a special use permit pursuant to Village Code 175-22C and 175-42C1 to add a residential apartment to the second floor of 1820 on Main Street. B, application for a variance of 2 parking places required for the second floor apartment pursuant to the village code. C, application for a special permit use pursuant to village code 175-22C and 175-42C1 to add a residential apartment to the rear of the first floor on 1820 Main Street, and I will just go out here and I will say that apartment does not exist as we stand right now. This is an addition you want to make to that. And then D is the application for a variance of 2 parking places required for the first floor apartment pursuant to Village Code 175-53. Okay. This board may or may not know everything that you're trying to do there and what you're trying to get. What I would ask you to do is tell us who you are and tell us what it is you're trying to do and what we need. We'll help you with where we need the application for.
Thank you. So I am Dan Peters, P-I-E-T-E-R-S. You guys hear me all right? This doesn't feel
yes.
like it does. And I am here representing Sean and FICO Partners as an architect, licensed architect in the state of New York along with other states. Sean and I have worked together on multiple projects. This application, when we submitted, which I believe you all have a copy of, as some of the paperwork unfolded, the ask that we had for this board was really letter C, and I guess D as well. I think through some of the paperwork, not 100% sure I wasn't involved, but we want to kind of clean up A and B as part of this, just as, so you all know. So there are 4 asks here. The first one being a special use permit to add residential apartments to the second floor, which currently exists.
Yes, that was where I wanted to go with this. Those currently exist and are in place. So what is the ask here? Because if we're already using them, don't they have a...
Good question. I spoke with Jake, and I think Jake just wanted clarity as well. So I don't know if there's an action that we need on that, but I guess I understand from you, I think there was a permit given for the second floor apartments. And it's been that way for years.
Do we know when it was given?
April 23rd, 1986.
86.
So the board approved 2 one-bedroom apartments on the second floor, same square footage as it exists now. And sometime subsequent to that, prior to Mr. Pico purchased the property, it was converted from 2 one-bedroom apartments to 1 two-bedroom apartment. And just to clean up the language, make sure the approvals are all in line with what actually exists, that was added in here.
When did it go from the 2 one-bedroom apartments to 1 two-bedroom apartment?
That I'm not certain. Sometime between
So whenever that was, it should have gone to the zoning board,
It did not.
didn't. So we're trying to clean that up, and that's why that 2-bedroom apartment upstairs is now before you. It's been there for a number of years, but somehow it slipped through the cracks and
It's there, but
it
it's
technically got there without approval.
And what the request of us to do would be to approve that modification of 2 apartments to giving permission for 1 apartment on the second floor.
Correct.
Which is currently how.
And then they also need
I get the second for the the second one is for the first floor.
Yeah, and both apartments need variances for parking, because there is no on-site parking.
So the B section here, the B letter, includes the parking for the upper 2 spaces. So that's the variance, again, cleaning up that. Don't know what was submitted before, but if we're making this action, it makes sense to clean that up. So the third thing here in the special use permit, currently the full floor on the first floor is a commercial space. And Sean and Depot Partners want to take I'm using round numbers, but the front half or north half, 50% of the first floor, keep it commercial. Clean it up a bit, the drawings show what he's intending to do there. And then the second part, or the second half, the back half, south half, is to make it a 2-bedroom apartment with 2 baths.
Is the upstairs apartment currently rented?
Yes.
Somebody's
And what is it upstairs right now?
It is 2, it's a,
1 2-bedroom.
it's a, yes, sorry.
It's 1 2-bedroom.
So 1 2-bedroom, yeah. When I took it over, it was a 1-bedroom. It was 1 apartment. When I purchased that building, it was 1 apartment. I had no idea that it was originally 2 apartments at one time, way before I bought it. When I bought it, it was just 1 apartment, and I remodeled it.
And that was from 1986, thereabouts. It was converted to 2 1-bedroom apartments. And somewhere along the line, it got changed to a 1 apartment with 2 bedrooms. Did we do any modification in construction? Did we change doorways, entranceways? And did we just say, come in, bolt these doors? I don't know.
I believe you did, other than finish upgrades. But it was done prior, that was all done prior to him, from what I understand, prior to him owning the place.
And if I, he subsequently did a remodel 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago, did a remodel on that apartment upstairs with the building permit and everything. And it was about 3 years ago.
So we've had somebody from the village or from the town has seen the apartment and gone through it.
Yeah,
since
and
then.
Will was there during the process.
And there were no questions at that point that it was appropriately a 1.
There was not questions. I'm not saying there shouldn't have been questions at that point, but there wasn't questions at that point. And so it was, I guess, another opportunity that may have been missed to straighten out the previous variance.
So as we go forward, do
Special
we
use
need to
permitting.
change an existing code variance? Or do we need to just go forward and say what's there will be henceforth? And I'm talking about just the upstairs right now.
The only variance for the upstairs was for the parking spaces. There was 4 parking spaces on that same date. It was a special permit use, not a variance for the
Neither of the apartments, whether it's upstairs or downstairs, 2 1-bedrooms, whatever, none of them needed variances. Because the building has always been, nothing was done to the exterior of the building. The variances are for parking. This is, you're granting a special permit use under section 175-42C1, because residential uses are not permitted in the central business district where this property is located without a special permit use. I don't know why it's not called special use permit, but the code calls it a special permit use.
So why wouldn't we just say regardless of what's on the books going forth, it will now be a 1-bedroom, single apartment on the 2nd floor, and then we've addressed anything that might have happened in 86.
Correct.
That's the intent.
That's what letter A is.
Okay, all
But
right.
it's not a variance. You're approving a special permit use to allow a 2-bedroom
2-bedroom,
apartment
single apartment on the 2nd floor.
in the central business district where residential uses are not permitted without a special permit.
Okay,
Okay? And we don't know what happened. They probably, whenever it was converted from the 2 one-bedroom apartments to the 1, 2, they probably didn't get a building permit. That's why there's no record of it.
yeah.
They just did it
It's likely what occurred.
without a permit.
It's
Because
not-
they weren't doing anything to the outside.
Right. Correct.
But that's why it slipped through the cracks.
So, I don't know if.
No, go on.
Yeah, so
You got it.
they asked for the involvement really that started this, in addition to what we just talked about, to clean up the paperwork, was really to take the first floor and take all commercial space, leave it on the front half commercial, the back half make a 2 one-bedroom, or
One.
1 2-bedroom apartment.
That's what the book says.
I don't know why I can't run my name.
All right, so what you want to do is take that, which is currently 2 apartments, convert, no, it's no
No, no.
apartments.
So basically, it's the storefront. All I want to do, we tried to rent this place for, I don't know, 5 years. It's been listed on the last, it's a financial hardship. There's nothing I can do. I've tried to build the suit, cut in half. I've offered to do what anybody that wants to rent that place, I'll do anything for them. I can't rent it. So it's a financial hardship. Basically, I want to take that storefront. I know that the village, wants to keep everything commercial, and I can understand that. You guys, there's a certain look in the village. I agree with it. So I wanted to keep that storefront in the front and just put an apartment on the back half. It's about 2,400 square feet, if I'm not mistaken, I believe. So we would keep, I don't know, what was it, the storefront would be, I think the storefront would be 12 or 1,400 square feet.
Yeah, it's about 2,400 total. It'd be about 1,400 square feet, maybe a little less than that for the storefront.
For the storefront, so you still get the look and look, which is probably empty, it would still be empty, but we'll still get that storefront, commercial look on the front side, just looking to get some, some income from this property that's, we can't do anything with it. It's just, I've lowered rent, I've done everything except give it away.
So that storefront could be possible 2 occupants in that.
Technically, you could, yeah, yeah.
700 square feet each or something.
Right, we've not divided it that way, but it would be easy enough. I think right now the idea is let's do it as a 1-tenant setup, but there are 2 doors that could be utilized because we have a sidewalk door as well.
And the idea being is that those storefronts, we'll call them that for lack of a better term, it may not be
Yeah.
right, but the storefronts will continue to be businesses.
Correct.
We're not going to try and move an additional apartment into the front.
I know.
Okay,
And all those apartments follow safety codes with fire escapes, et cetera.
Correct. Right.
Even the new adjustments on the front first floor.
Right, I have 2 exits out, I've shown on my path of egress, I've shown exit signs. The other thing to clean up is the current stair that does come down from the 2nd floor that exits the north side on the west corner
Yes.
is now going to turn internally first to get down to grade and then exit, so that gets cleaned up.
will that be the only entrance to the 2nd floor? or-
No, there's a second entrance off the back,
Okay,
and they're separated enough by code.
I was curious, I took a walk around the building today, and that ramp is definitely needed. That's one big step out there. It looks good. It looks good.
is the upper apartment rented?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the
So what you're looking to do is make the conversion to the back apartment on the first floor and increase your income by renting that.
Right, so we're gonna make changes to the storefront, not an apartment. Right now, there's no apartment. We're just trying to add an apartment to the store, behind the storefront.
For lack of a better term,
Okay.
you're gonna throw some kind of a wall on the inside,
Yes.
separate the 2 of them out.
That's correct.
Exactly.
The firewall would be a separated, coded,
It'll have all the appropriate exits,
Correct.
it'll go through a fire inspection.
right?
Okay.
Right now, we all know the interest rates are, and mortgages, and, I mean, residential real estates, renting real estates, the way to go right now. So they definitely help, that apartment, we sunk a lot of money into it. We made that apartment be absolutely beautiful. It's got the amenities of a $300,000 house. And it's just, right now, that's the only income we have. That's it. And we have all that wasted space downstairs that, can't win with the way it says. And I'm not even, we're cutting, I already offered, it was on the MLS, like I said, we spoke to a couple, prospective tenants. I told them I'd cut it in half, I'd do whatever they want to do to rent it, and it's just, I don't know, the space is hard. The building I own next to it, it's, the same thing. I have one storefront that's been difficult to rent, other one's been there for a long time, great tenant. He's now looking to take the other side now, so that's a plus for that building, but that's not why we're here. So.
Questions from anybody else on the board?
The connected door between proposed first floor residential unit into the hallway of the commercial space. That opens right-hand swing into the hallways.
Yeah, you have to swing in the path of travel of exit.
Yes, but does that not impede the path of travel from the commercial space to the side door?
You're talking about the one that's heading north. I believe.
Kitchen fire door.
Yeah, I believe that's all. I have the distance on the front face of that to be accepted because that hallway is wide enough, but I could check that. If that is a quote, I don't think it is, but I'll check it. And then that wall where that defines that hallway on the north side could increase north.
Is that a 36-inch hallway?
No, I want to,
Probably in the 5-foot.
it's 6'5" outside to outside. I'm guessing it's 5.5 feet. I didn't put the metal.
The doors would be 36-inch.
That's correct.
Correct. So it only allows a 2-foot.
It's a good point. I want to check it. I think that that north side wall would have to grow north maybe 8 inches or so. I'll check the code.
But you could adjust that and make it
That's a
fit, make
simple-
it fit where the code is.
That's correct. That's a simple fix. If it needs to be done, but I'll.
So the ideal situation is the business owner lives in the back.
Yeah, it is, right.
There you go.
I actually took a walk down that alley, and I was surprised to find a nice little grassy area out there.
Yeah, right.
I've been living here 57 years on this block. I didn't know it grass out behind here.
That's the pet part.
And the pavement that you did between the two buildings, that improved the whole.
Yeah, it was a slope, of people used to breathe in the wintertime. And tenants were taking out their garbage, it was such a liability, so we had a concrete pad, leveled it out, it wasn't a slope anymore.
So there's no new external building, right? Structure.
No.
No new addition. No new addition.
And do we have to do a seeker for the bottom apartments?
Before the bank question.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you need seeker for the variance, which is in type 2 criteria. The rest of it for
The
the,
top floor, you wouldn't need one, I don't think.
well, you do want anyhow.
It's still type 2, it's still type 2 because it's replacement, rehabilitation, or reconstruction of a structure or facility in kind on the same site.
You're not doing anything to the exterior, so it's type 2. And the granting of the special permit is converted to convert the apartments, both upstairs and downstairs. It's type 2.
Would you like a motion for a second?
Well,
Good. Oh, yes.
all right, that's going to be the thing that we do next. Okay, you have anything else you want to add to us? Stick with us for a few minutes in case there are other questions. Sure. But thank you for what you've done so far.
Thank you.
Jake, any words, any comments from the zoning, from the village?
I'd be happy to get rid of that step in the front.
Pardon me?
I said, I'll be happy to get rid of that stuff in the front. And I think the new entrance way is described kind of as consistent with a lot of the rest of them down along the village there, so.
Good. All right. Okay, thank you. Right now, I want to open it up to anybody from the general public who's got any comments or questions or to make for or against this. I would just ask you to get up, identify yourself and your address, and go forth with your comments. The only thing I would ask is that we, keep the comments directed at the board. Let's not direct them back into the audience. Okay. We have no comments for or against it, so we've got some things to do here. Number one, and are we doing this as all one, or are we gonna do this as two? Two actions. Are we gonna do the upstairs as one action?
Well, you can take a motion that all 4 actions are type 2 actions under secret. And therefore, by definition, there's no one going to
Okay. Fair enough, so we've got that on the table. Do we hear a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that all 4 actions are for area, acceptable under secret type 2 action under secret with no significant environmental impact.
Second?
Okay, so we've got that on the table and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. All right. Now, moving forward, this may be me, I'm stuck on doing this as 2 separate things, because number one, in my mind, we have to address turning 2 apartments, whatever's on the books, into,
Right, so I do 4 separate motions.
okay,
The first motion would be to approve a special permit use for the upstairs 2-bedroom apartment from 2 1-bedroom apartments.
All right,
That would be the first one.
so what we've got is one on the table to approve the single, okay. You got it? And I'm not stopping it.
all right, so I'm gonna make a motion to grant a special permit use to acknowledge the existing previously happened conversion of 2 1-bedroom apartments into 1 2-bedroom apartment, just so that there was no future issues.
And there shouldn't be any future come forward that says it's 2 apartments. It's
Right.
going to be 1.
Correct.
All right, so we've got that on the table. We have a seconded.
I'll second that.
We have that seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Okay, that's on our list. Now, B, the 2 parking places required for the 2nd floor apartment. Don't they have that?
Previously, there was a variance for the 2 1-bedroom apartments for the 2 parking spaces. But that went away when it got changed to 1 apartment.
All right.
Because the variance was specific to 2 apartments. So it needs another variance.
And this
The
variance
upstairs
will
apartment-
be for 2 parking places.
Correct. 2
Well-
off-premises parking spots.
Right,
Now-
so the variance is for 0 parking spaces.
Right.
Where 2 are required
Correct.
for the 2nd floor apartment.
Are we gonna, this is overly simple on my part, but are we gonna put all the parking in one spot? Whether it's for the back part, because why wouldn't we do all the parking in one, because then we'd have to break it up, never mind. I know where you're going.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
But I would have, yeah, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance for 2 parking spots for the 2nd floor apartment.
Okay, we've got a motion on the
I'll second
table.
that.
Seconded, All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. All right, so A and B are taken care of. C, special use permit to add the residential apartment to the rear of the first floor of 1820 West Main Street. And that apartment doesn't exist, so this will be for one apartment at 1820 on the first floor. Or you could call it a second apartment, but label it onto the first floor.
Right.
Either way,
All right, I'll make a motion for the application of a special permit use for the first floor of 18 West Main.
okay, so we've got a motion on the table to create an apartment that doesn't exist with a special permit on the first floor
Correct.
at the rear of 20 and 18. Seconded?
I second
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. And then the last thing we have to do, if we didn't do them all with the one parking variance, was to add an additional parking variance for 2 parking spaces associated with the first floor apartment at 1820.
I'll make a motion for a variance for 2 parking places required for the first floor apartment pursuant to Village Code.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right, I think we got this.
Thank you.
Good luck, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, this will help tremendously. Thank you.